I'm sure many of you who were kids in the 2000s, like I was, still feel that strange thrill of wandering through stores like Party City, Spirit Halloween, and Toys R Us. Remember that rush of excitement? Walking around those aisles where shelves towered above us, filled with colorful costumes, creepy masks, and the endless possibilities of Halloween? It was like magic in every corner. And it didn't even matter if we left empty handed. Just being there felt like an adventure, didn't it? Those spaces felt huge back then, like entire worlds just waiting to be explored. My parents always kept a close watch on me in the big department stores, Ocean State Job Lot or Walmart, but in Spirit or Party City, I had the freedom to wander, to lose myself in aisles of costumes and decorations. It was like my own personal little kingdom of Halloween treasures. But then there was one place, Marty's Party Goods. Just a small local shop tucked away in a rundown strip mall, barely visible from the street. Nothing flashy, nothing big. But for some reason, it felt different, special somehow. My mom and I would spend hours there just exploring, even if we rarely bought anything. We'd go there every October, especially as Halloween drew closer. At least, we used to. Until something happened. Something I buried so deep in my memory that it nearly vanished altogether. Something that stopped us from ever going back. It was October, probably 2008 or 2009. I still remember the chill in the air as we went into Marty's to pick out my Halloween costume. The store was dimly lit, and Halloween decorations hung everywhere, casting eerie shadows on the walls. But somewhere in that little shop, I got lost. Just vanished, somehow. My mom said she couldn't find me for about 20 minutes, but that didn't make any sense. Marty's was such a small store. How could I have just disappeared? And for so long. For years, I couldn't remember a thing from that day, not a single moment of what had happened. It was like my mind had completely erased it. But recently, everything started coming back. It hit me like a wave, standing there, staring into that familiar little store. The memories felt almost too real. I walked inside, looking around, taking in every detail I'd long forgotten. And then I saw it. In the back of the store, there was this small, pale room I had never really noticed before. The walls were a dull eggshell white, peeling in places, and the fluorescent lights overhead buzzed and flickered, casting harsh, unnatural shadows. The rest of the store had this warm, yellowish light, but here it was cold, stark, almost sterile. That's where I'd wandered back then. And in my memory, that tiny room wasn't so tiny. It was endless, like some kind of corridor that twisted and turned, leading deeper into nowhere. I could feel this tightness in my chest, this sense of dread, like something was terribly wrong, like something was watching me. I remembered more and more, as if the memories were flooding back all at once. The room was lined with bargain bin costumes, each one stuffed into thin plastic bags. Many of them were scattered on the floor. Some spilled out of their bags, creating little piles of cloth and plastic. I kept moving forward through rows and rows of costumes, deeper into this impossible hallway. That's when I realized I wasn't alone. There, lying among the costumes, something was moving. A faint shuffling sound echoed through the room. I looked down, and amidst the piles I saw it, an eye, just one eye, staring back at me through a rubber mask. But it wasn't a human eye. It was something else, reptilian, cold, unblinking. It wasn't hanging from a hook or shelf. It was there, low to the ground, almost hidden beneath the costumes. Motionless, but alive. Watching, waiting. And I just stood there, frozen, unable to scream or move. Then somehow, I managed to tear myself away, stumbling out of that room, not knowing if I'd really escaped. I don't remember how I found the exit. The memory blurs there, like a foggy dream. But the next thing I knew, I was in my mother's arms, sobbing, unable to explain what I'd seen. She held me tight, and I remember her carrying me to the car, whispering to calm me, telling me it was all okay. But was it really okay? 15 years later, I still can't shake that memory. I tell myself it was a nightmare, but deep down, I know it was something else. I've been thinking about going back to Marty's, going back to see if that cold, empty room is still there, and if that thing, that eye, is still waiting, hidden just beyond the shadows, watching me through that old, worn-out mask.